Welcome back.
No.
Welcome back to the Young Bucks podcast.
The people voted.
Welcome back.
Young Bucks podcast,
to the
episode
Young Bucks
69.
podcast, episode 69. We're here. We're back. We're elated to be here on this great Saturday.
How are you today?
We are. Hey.
Get something on that. Band-Aid. Cover that up.
It's a good Saturday. Happy college football week.
Yeah,
It doesn't really start till week 3, if we're being real.
I didn't even know until last night. I'm going to be honest about that.
If you're being real.
Yeah.
But, I definitely, because, the first 3 teams you play normally, at least for the Big Ten, are kind of mid.
Mm-hmm.
Or they're, undergrad schools, and then you get into, the actual season in, week 4. But still excited to watch.
What's an undergrad school?
I don't know. Is that what I said?
Yeah. I don't know either, but I just wanted to.
It's definitely not undergrad.
I knew you did not know. And so a part of me felt bad. You could probably see the hesitation on my face before I asked. But
clip it.
That could be a good one.
That's probably gonna be a good clip. Yeah, it's a good Saturday. I'm happy to be here. Are you happy to be here?
I'm elated to be here.
I already said that.
That's why I said it.
No, I'm Chris Deering. This is Henry Deering. We have a podcast. It's the Young Bucks podcast. Welcome. If this is your first episode.
If it's first time here, thanks for joining.
Yeah, Henry likes to voice crack when he's on the podcast. If you're new, just letting you guys know.
Still nervous. First.
Yeah, I've been doing it for 69 episodes. It's pretty self-explanatory.
70-something weeks, maybe.
70, yeah, probably 73 weeks. Yeah, so we put up some content this week. Thank you guys for the love on the shorts on YouTube and Instagram. If you haven't seen them, go check it out.
Share them, like them.
Share them,
if you
like them. Post them to your story. Add us. We'll repost it. DM us if you have any questions. If you need to talk to us about anything, we're there.
Dude,
we need to have an open bond with our fans, dude.
Yeah, but
if they want to reach out, they need to feel open to reach out, and I want them to feel that way because I would love to talk to our fans.
How much are we charging them?
What? Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. Hey, okay, you guys can direct your messages to me because I care. Henry does not seem to.
For $5 a month, you can join. No, I care. The Colt. I'm playing.
You best be.
What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, you can message me. I don't care. I'll talk.
Yeah,
they do message me actually.
Stop.
I don't know. You don't get messaged by them?
No, I do. I just don't want you to feel bad for not getting messaged.
But I do get messaged quite a bit.
Oh, you do?
Every day.
Oh, okay. I do too.
I feel like you're overcompensating.
From who?
Your undergraduate degree.
Hey. No college, no problem. You got 2 kids who have not even sniffed the college campus. Except Henry.
I sniffed it.
You did sniff it.
I actually laid on the college campus.
You did?
Floor.
Talk about that. You want to talk about college? What was your college life?
College life, boring. I mean, it was community college. It wasn't anything crazy. I didn't know anybody. We had to wear masks because this was fall.
Wait, for real?
This was fall of 2021. We had to wear.
2022.
No.
Because you graduated in 2021.
Yeah, but April or May. I graduated in June of 2021. So I went to college in October, October 2021.
Yeah.
Well, actually, September to December, but yeah, it took 4 classes. Might have been 12 credits, 13 credits, something like that. It was math, speech, English, and entrepreneurship.
Do you still have those credits?
I think so. I don't think you ever lose them.
Oh, nice. What have you learned from the education?
That it wasn't for me.
Exactly.
But the entrepreneurship class sticks with me a lot. The speech class sticks with me a lot. Some of the math stuff, surprisingly, it's not
Yeah?
applicable, but like some of it.
But if seen in real life, you could identify.
Yeah. And then
There
the
you go.
English one was online.
Weird.
Something that sticks out to me from the speech class was I forgot what the topic was. We had to write a speech about something. And she said, like, something about faith. And she defined it as believing something that's not true. She said that's what the
What the
definition
heck?
of faith was.
Man.
And I, like, that still sticks with me. And I wish I would have, like, been bold enough to, like,
Say something about it.
yeah. Because at the time, I sat there and I was thinking, like, what?
What did he say?
Exactly my thoughts.
That's crazy.
Like that's one of the prominent memories. I remember it was like my first introduction to like seeing like the furry culture.
Ew.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah.
We don't judge, but gross.
Yeah. So that was fascinating. We had to like check in like when we came in the buildings, like COVID wise. Like
Did you have like a COVID card?
it was like you had to go on like the Michigan government website and fill out like this like 3-question thing that said like you weren't feeling sick or have a high temperature that day.
Wow.
It was pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
But it just wasn't like it was like a percentage. Like it was like these bigger buildings and there was like not the amount of people to fill the buildings. Like they didn't have all the classes on the campus.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like kind of felt desolate from time to time, empty. I don't know. It was just like not
Weird.
something that I wanted to move forward with.
So now we have a podcast.
Yeah. True.
Wow. I really wasn't expecting to talk about that.
No, I wasn't either. Good question.
Kind
Thanks
of
for
forgot you
opening
went
up
to
the
college.
floor. Yeah, me too. What's crazy is I knew before.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
If you were still there, you'd be going into your junior year. I'd be going into my freshman year of college.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably be
Actually,
done there.
Yeah, community college is 2 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Never mind.
if I was still there, it'd be a problem.
Man.
Go Bears. That was the
Bear-
mascot.
Oh, the Mott Bears.
Yeah. Oh, don't be throwing it out there like that, man.
Oh.
I want to get tracked down.
Stop.
The library was cool, though.
For the half semester you were there. Everybody pull up Henry's credentials for the community college you went to for half a semester.
Yeah. But the entrepreneurship class was pretty good, like,
Yeah.
honestly.
That's what we're growing.
Yeah.
That's the basis we're using for this podcast is that entrepreneurship class.
Yeah. We're following a lot of fundamentals.
Is that all the housekeeping?
Yeah.
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 Huh.
So that was a distracted topic.
Hey, sometimes you just got to go with the flow of the podcast.
Yeah.
Can't just stick to the script always.
No. Well, when there's no script, it's hard to stick to it.
Amen to that.
Story of the Unworks podcast. No, we actually have a plan today. So let's roll right into it. Undistracted Part 2 has finally arrived.
Woo!
Much awaited, much anticipated.
Woo!
We're ready to, roll out the next handful of episodes. We'll be sticking with the Undistracted series. We're very excited, looking forward to it. Today we'll be discussing Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Let me get the title.
Title and thumbnail.
Yeah, there's like a little description. So Chapter 2 is called The Keyhole of Eternity. Take care of your heart and grow your mind, and you will live a life loaded with legacy. And Chapter 3 is called Breaking Free by Coming Home. The cure for insecurity is being completely present in the expression of your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So these two chapters really went hand in hand with themselves.
Great chapters.
If I had to summarize it in a sentence, I would just say, like, for the most part, like, if you walk around your day, there's often, like, the move that you think you should make that you overthink making and don't make.
Yeah.
And like these 2 chapters just talked about like the confidence and the like necessity to being undistracted, being focused is to act on those, like those thoughts that you know you should do but you put off. That was kind of like the summary blanket statement of both of these, which I liked. I think so. What I find in my life, like personally, most of the time I learn something by reverse. Like with this book, I was kind of like, we can read it and we'll apply it as we go through the week. But instead, it's shown to me through like, here's the information and here's what your life looks like without it. Like that gets amplified in my head.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
So like the things that were in this book or in these chapters was like things that I lacked recently. And so like now it's not like this, my perspective on this podcast is not here's how I applied it, but here's where I noticed in my life recently that I was lacking in these areas.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So I don't know, 4 weeks ago,
You read this?
5 weeks ago, we did part 1. I don't know what episode it was.
You might have been 65.
But I read chapter 2 the following
66.
week, and I did not pick it up until this week to read chapter 3. And I took notes on chapter 2, but I didn't remember any of it.
Till this week? Till
Yeah,
today?
yeah. No, I read it on Wednesday, I think.
Chapter 3.
Yeah. And one of the notes that I took was he kind of emphasized like taking time to reflect on things that you take in or experiences that you have in life so that you are more prone to like understand that information, whether it was experience or just like words, like listening to this podcast right now. It's like these are just like, this is just content, I guess, that you're consuming. It's not a life experience that you're consuming. But either way, like trying to take time to like reflect on the things that you hear and what stands out to you can help you with like actually taking actionable steps towards the things that you learned that can help you.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely in chapter 2, he talked about like the note taking.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that, but like he said, like take what
the part I just referred to.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember.
So like you take notes, but then like most of the time when you take notes on something, you just take notes to take notes.
Yeah.
Like there's no real purpose behind it. But like if you take the notes, like study them and go back through them and like remember them and like apply what you're writing down to your life. Don't just like you can take notes while listening to this podcast. Like even we should probably do that. Take notes on the pod.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like but if you're listening to this like and you feel like you need to remember stuff, like write it down. Like take notes on the show. Take notes on what you read. Like take notes in your devotions. Take notes like at work on what you did that day, or like write down what you're doing and like study it, see how the patterns change, see what happens, see how you live your life, and like see what distracts you, what like you do good, what you are learning, you know, like what did you do here that you didn't do here, what didn't you do here that you could improve with over here, you know, like there's so many different things if we just like start writing it down, remembering, studying, figuring out how our lives actually work, you know?
Mm-hmm. It makes sense. Like that kind of opened my eyes to like we're reading this book to like seek help on the topic. And like, I think we initially expect like a quicker fix of like, we're reading the book to get the information to get better. But really like reading the book is kind of like step 1 of like many. Like just reading the words and even taking notes are only like the first, like, the
Baby
first
step.
initial step towards like building a snowball of really learning and applying and growing in an area. So that's kind of interesting because I've kind of been thinking to myself in various like things I've been trying to learn, like why do I feel like I'm not focused? Why do I feel like it's always like all over the place? And like I think it's because I don't like return to that information that I initially wrote down or learned. Like I think it has to be like a continual process of like going back to these notes. Even chapter 1, like I don't think we can just read it and then move on to the next week and like forget it. Like I think the information will be things that like we continually will have to look back to really like grasp.
Definitely.
Did you ever, so when you were talking, I remembered in chapter 1, that was something that stood out to you like pretty dominantly, was like trying to write out what you do during the day. Like, was that something you ever tried?
No,
No.
it wasn't.
I mean, there's no shame
I
in
did
it.
started.
I just was curious.
I did start journaling. I really haven't been journaling though. I need to do better with that. But I didn't like write down what I did that day, like what I do during the day and throughout it. It does get kind of tough with work though, because like it's basically like 2 hour, 2 hour, 2 hours. Like, cause then I'll have like a break. I mean, it is like 15. It's mainly like 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours. But like, it's kind of like loose, a little bit more loose.
Yeah.
And so, like for those 2.5 hours, I'm like locked in with my work, you know.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of difficult to like focus on like figuring stuff out and write it down. But I would like to, and I know I need to.
Yeah. No, I was just curious.
Yeah.
If that was
No
something
shame.
that you tried.
We're vulnerable.
I find it difficult as well to like take that seriously, because it's like, okay, I'm writing down like what I'm doing. Like
I'm
this
writing
is kind
down.
of redundant. Like just ate an orange.
Writing
like
the sentence.
decided to. I don't know, but I do like I can see the value in it. Feels like it makes sense.
Yeah. Another thing, like, I mainly remember like reading it from chapter 2. I read chapter 2 on the beach, which was great. I read it on vacation last week. But the main thing that, and I actually like applied it to my life this week. And he said, I forget the sentence, and I kind of wish I would pull it up from the book right now, but I'm not gonna do that because I don't want to take the time to find it. It was like, just be yourself, like just be you. That's the only thing anyone can ask you to do, because like that's you being your best self. It would have been on the right hand page.
Okay. We'll see if
in like the lower half. And like if you just be yourself, like you don't have to worry about trying to please people or like you're like being someone you're not. If you just like are who you are and who God made you to be, because like that's who we were supposed to be. And like I've kind of just tried to not try to fit in with my people at work, not try to over like fit myself in, or just like I'm just trying to be me. Like I'm not doing anything extra. Just like I go to work and I'm just me. I'm Chris, and I enjoy what I do and where I'm at and how I do fit in, and I'm still trying to figure that out, but I'm not trying to force myself to be something else. I'm just trying to be myself, enjoy my time. Something that I found out at work on Monday is that I've never been like pissed off or upset at work. Like I'm always just doing my job. But on Monday I was. We had to fit these. I'll show you a picture of what we had to do. But so we build these boards, or we put this stuff together, and it's all held together. It's not all held together, but it is. So like these boards right here, they slide in between these two like uprights. Like these two
Okay.
things are called uprights, and those boards are these boards were all warped and stuff. So I'm trying to fit these two boards into this top rail right here. That thing on top is the top rail. And so there's 4 panels and there's 6 of these.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to do all of them. I did all of these.
24.
Yeah. And
4 times 6.
yeah. And so those top rails, trying to fit those things in, wiggle them around. One side would go in, the other side would pop out.
Tedious.
It was very annoying. And then the outside ones, so there was 2 inside and 2 on the outside, right? Yeah, the 2 outside ones had to be taken off because something else went on top there.
Really?
Yeah. So I was so mad trying to put those together.
Yeah.
But like other than that, so there was that exception. But I've never been like upset at work. Like I'm just doing my job. If we work overtime, we work overtime. If we don't, we don't. You know, like I'm just there. I'm just doing my job. I'm living my life and I'm enjoying it. Like there's nothing to like hate or be annoyed at. Like I'm just living. Like and I feel like sometimes people will get upset at work or like annoyed or like kind of just like, why are we here? But like I'm just chilling with the situation I'm in, you know? And I feel like if more people can just like adopt that and like just be themselves and like enjoy where they're at, like make the most of their circumstances, like people will be better off.
Yeah. Was your sentence decide in advance you will do whatever it takes to get your heart right, then do it, even if it kills all previous versions of you?
That could have been it, but I think he literally just said, just be yourself. Just be you.
Well, that was a sentence that I thought that stood out to me. I actually wrote it down.
No,
but we can go back to that because I was actually going to allude to what you were just talking about with work. As I'm thinking about it, like with the restaurant job, I don't think I've ever been like truly pissed.
No.
Like I've never really found a reason to, because it's like I'm just here making food and I'm going to go home after this. And granted, that's like an hourly job, like just like for the most part, like most of the people there, like that's like not the main thing. Like for you, your thing is the main thing.
Yeah.
With that. But even like with like real estate, if I'm ever like upset, it's generally at myself. Like it's generally not the work. But I guess that's kind of different because it's my own volition. Or even like with the podcast, like, I don't know. I guess we both just kind of have brains that's just like, we'll just figure it out, like, now that we're in it.
Yeah.
So kind of tying that into like chapter 3, like where that mainly talked about insecurity, and like both chapters like talk about insecurity as far as like kind of the first chapter was more like be you and don't be afraid to be you, and then the second chapter was like don't hold on to the insecurity. That was the main focus. Like for a little while I was kind of insecure because I didn't know like the path I wanted to take with real estate. Like initially I really liked investing and like all the projects that went along with that, and then it's like I got into sales and it's like this isn't really what I wanted to do. But like now I have like this like very good vision around like where I want to go with it, and it's because I like decided to be confident in it because that's what like God had for me in the work.
Right.
So like kind of like do the work. Like if you view your work as like what someone has for you, and then you're submitting to them to do that, it's like there's then that pressure taken off. Like, and by that someone I mean God. And especially in like this is like a business, real estate's a business. Because we talked about Ecclesiastes, like we learned about that. Were you there in Bible study for those?
I was there for the first one. I was there for 1 through 6.
Okay. Well, basically the summary of Ecclesiastes is like a teacher has teachings and he talks about how everything in life is like worthless and meaningless.
Yeah.
but it's like a vapor. Like you can see it, like you can see the smoke. But as soon as you go out to reach and grab for it, like you get nothing in your hand. Like you can see all the things, but like, is it actually like a tangible thing? Like it's not something you can hold on to. But like the full circle of Ecclesiastes is like God gives meaning to those things throughout your life. So like whether it's your work or your family or like something like this, like the podcast, like now that God is like really a focal point, it gives meaning to it.
Yeah.
And like allows it to have purpose. So like that was kind of like something else that we learned about that I connected to this book. And as far as like dealing with insecurity in things, it's like if you know it's from God or God is the focal point of the thing, and your confidence can be in that. Like that has helped me from being distracted by like, oh, what will this person think, or da da da.
Yeah.
In the work department, not so much like it hasn't really connected the dots in like the faith department, because at work, like I started thinking like this week actually, like people would just kind of freely throw out like the like, oh, Jesus, or like, you know, taking Lord's name in vain. And I'm thinking to myself like, oh, like why? Like I would think in my head, like, man, that's not cool. Like, for one, I wish they wouldn't say that, not for me, but for them.
Right.
Like, I wish that they didn't feel like that was an okay thing to say for like their heart. But like, why don't I speak up and say something? Like, why wouldn't I be like, hey, like that's not cool, or like, why did you say that? Because if I said something offensive to them, like if I was like, I think cats are stupid, and they have like 13 cats, like they would probably say like, well, hold on, like why do you think cats are stupid?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Actually, what's wrong with her? But
no, but like
I hear you. Keep going.
So that's somewhere where I would say I'm probably like not really there with like, if it's like a personal opinion, I'm more of like try to keep the peace.
Yeah.
As opposed to like getting a little uncomfortable to make peace, right? Because it's like I'll take that like uncomfortable burden, like, oh, they said something I don't like, but I won't bring anything up.
Yeah.
So that like they're not offended, but like I'm okay with being offended. Like that's weird. Yeah. But I'm not necessarily offended. I'm more so concerned. Like, man, like I feel like, I don't know. I mean, if you believe in Jesus and you know someone, or you work with someone who doesn't, then like you want them to,
right, by
nature.
Yeah. I had a couple Jesus encounters this week at work. Like one of my guys, like we were talking about what I'm gonna do this weekend and whatnot, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna chill because the last couple weekends I've been like super busy. And so I told him how we went camping with Bible study and whatnot, and then he was telling me how like his girlfriend's been like taking him to church and whatnot, even though they're moving in together, which it's a different story for a different day.
Yeah.
And so I like was talking to him about that, and
they're buying a house though.
What?
They're buying a house though.
No, he's moving in with her. And so
he's selling the house.
No, he lived with his parents. So, so no, there's no real estate opportunity for you.
Got a prospect.
And so we kind of just started talking about like his church, and I tried to talk to him a little bit, and eventually the conversation faded out. But then a little bit bigger of a conversation happened on Thursday, and a different guy was like, I'm known as like the Christian boy, like at work, kinda.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like that's kind of how it's always been referred to, whether it's baseball, like freaking travel baseball. I was Christian Chris.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
That's pretty creative.
And so then when I like,
not really, but
after I struck out and freaking
like cursing out like the
Dude.
baseball bat.
Dude, it was so bad.
Did anybody like
baseball is so bad for you.
baseball brings out the worst. I probably said more swear words on the pitching mound than
Oh
like
my gosh,
any
dude.
other.
Freaking, if you're a baseball player, you know. It wasn't that bad this year because I really didn't care. But like every other year, it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
It's the difference between believer Henry and follower Henry.
yeah, dude.
I would say
Baseball brings out the worst.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, and so I don't know what happened, but he was like, you have like the supernatural power from God, and I was like, haha, amen. And then he was like, did you really just amen that? And I was like, well. And so then I kind of got into the like what we were talking about with at camping, and how we have the same healing power that like was there in Bible times.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we just have to believe that like 100% in our hearts that we do, you know?
Yeah.
Like we're not believing 100% that we can heal people.
Mm-hmm.
Not like Jesus could, because we're not on the same level as him, right? But like that power is still within us through the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
And so he was like, all right, so if your kid one day is messing around and they break their arm, are you taking them to the hospital, or are you praying over them? And I was like, well, that's a stupid question. Well, obviously I'm going to pray, but like I'm not going to not take them to the hospital. You know, obviously I believe in miracles. I believe I believe that it can be healed through prayer.
Yeah.
But like I'm still gonna take him to the hospital. I think it would be a not very smart parental decision to not take them to the
Like
doctor.
bones sticking out of
Yeah,
the
like oh dude, your bone's there. Let's pray. You know, like it's a trick question, but like I do believe it could be healed through prayer.
Yeah.
But like you're not gonna not take him to a hospital.
Yeah, I'm not really fully there on the knowledge of that.
Right.
Like, how does that work? Because I know like I've learned a little bit about like giftings.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like
'Cause miracles
healing,
happen.
I think is one, like tongues. Like there's like gifts.
Yeah.
I don't know how like that
No.
is applied.
I'm not ready to talk about that either.
I'm not gonna speak in an opinion.
But
I know what you're
definitely-
saying.
Like we
That's
definitely
cool.
have seen miracles happen, like with Zach's leg.
Yeah.
Like that was a miracle.
Yeah, that was the first time I've ever like seen anything that was like a healing. Like this, one of our friends, he actually leads the Bible study.
Right.
He hurt his leg like playing pickleball. Like I think he thought it was the Achilles,
Yeah.
and like he was limping like around, like coming in. I guess he was playing the day before, and he said his leg was like messed up. And so at the end of Bible study, like we all gathered around him, and like one of the boys prayed for him, like over his leg, and just like for God to heal it, and like if that's God's will. And sure enough, like I don't know, I don't know how long we were there, like maybe like 8 to 10 minutes praying. Like honestly, it probably was that long. And he got up and like walked and like jumped up and down, and he was walking normal after. And that's like one of those things where it's like, was this like really that hurt? Like that's where my mind was going, because this is the first thing I've ever seen. But like now that it's been so long, I'm like, I mean, how could like, why not that be true?
Because he was praying in his heart to like be like have an open heart of reception of prayer, and everyone else was praying over the leg, and everyone else was praying that he would be receptive to the prayer and believing like in that God can and will heal. You know what I mean? Like everyone there was just like all in 100% on like healing his leg. You know?
Yeah.
And it was healed miraculously. You know?
Yeah.
And so I do believe, but I'm really happy I got in that situation to talk about it, because like it's not a supernatural power, but like we definitely have healing power.
Yeah, I think that's where like looking down in the notes, like something that I jotted down was like having faith and having trust is greater than seeking out the additional information. It's like generally there's enough, like we have enough with us to like do the thing that we're scared to do, or the thing we're insecure to do, or the thing, like whatever that thing is. Like I believe, like even right now, like there's things that come to mind for me that's like I need to take care of this, and I've been putting it off, and it's because I'm not brave enough, or I'm a little insecure about it.
Thank you.
What's that?
Well, I just realized I have to cancel some stuff and schedule some stuff.
Oh, okay.
I have
You're
some
welcome.
stuff to take care of.
So like just having faith that like that will be okay. And I think that kind of applies to like that, like even with myself, like trying to seek out the additional information, like what does the Bible say about like healing and prayers, rather than just having like faith. I just saw this with my own eyes. Like this guy, like his leg is
right.
like fine now. It's good. Like that's interesting. Like I have a hard time with that sometimes, of just like trusting the process and trusting that things will work out and be okay. I feel like something else that like I'm not really sure how it works, but like I'm starting to understand it a little more, is like I feel like God's telling me blank. Like I hear people say that, and it's like, well, what does that mean? Like I feel like God is telling me this. It's not like I feel like I have like a back and forth conversation with God, as far as like I can hear something that's not me as I'm talking to something that's not me. But like something that comes to my mind repeatedly is like, be still and know that I am God. Like lately, and I feel like that's been kind of like relaying it back to trust and faith, as opposed to like what's the information, like where's the information, like where are the facts, like where's the thing that's gonna like help me actually believe this is true, not in a faith perspective, but in like just a life, like personal life, business life. Like instead of just trusting and taking the actions, like I'll sit around for that information. And so I've been trying to like adopt that regularly. Like, okay, like you are God, I'm not. Like everything's gonna be okay. I just got to do the actions that you put on my heart to do. And it's generally the things that you got to be brave for.
Yeah. I definitely know what you're saying about like talking to God, or like feeling like God is telling you something. Like I remember like one of the first moments. It's almost like a realization when you know God's telling you something. Like it's like with me, I don't really want to get into the scenario where that it clicked for me, but like I was listening to a song and I realized that was God telling me what I needed. Like that was my realization, is like God told me in that moment, like, this is my answer to your prayer. This is how you need to go through the situation. You know what I mean? And that was really cool. I started crying when I realized like that's what it was. Like it brought tears to my eyes. Like it was so clear in that moment, like what needed to happen, you know?
Yeah.
And that right there is the wonderful working power of the Holy Spirit. And one more thing, about the whole miracles thing. Them and us praying over his leg was not, it's the thing that we need to clear up. It's not our healing power. Yes, we prayed, but it was from God. I hope that doesn't get misinterpreted. We're not the ones doing the miracles. It's God through us.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want that. I figured that could have been misinterpreted.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you cleared that up. I think it's always good. Sometimes like I'll listen back to the episodes and it's like, man, I wish like I would have reverted back to that sentence like 2 minutes later and like said, you know, no, this isn't, but it's all good. We haven't gotten in any trouble yet.
No, not yet. There's one more thing I wanted to talk about from the book. And I had it bookmarked, but then we got into something else. It was a phrase from page 31. If you want to turn there, you don't have to.
Last point?
Yeah, my last point. I was reminded how good it feels when we return home. Here's my points. Don't let the darkness of your circumstances or the surprises you encounter distract you from your destination. Level the wings. He was flying a plane. Level the wings, climb a little higher, look for the glow of home, then aim for it. And it was like, don't let the darkness of your circumstances or the surprises you encounter distract you from your destination. The darkness of our circumstances, the breakup, the surprises you encounter from your destination. That was a surprise that kind of got in the way of the destination of where the podcast wanted to go. We had to level the wings. We had to go through it. Well, I had to go through it, Like I had to figure out how that fit into my life, where it went. I had to climb higher. I had to get over it. I had to go through the mountains to get through it, And I'm looking for the glow of home, which is the podcast, which I found in God, and then aiming for it is like actually taking the strides to get through it, get past it, and find the new life in my new home.
Keep it moving, keep it pushing.
Yeah, that was a good little bit there from him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't let the darkness of your circumstances or the surprises you encounter distract you from your destination.
Yeah.
Things are always going to come up. There's always going to be people that you don't like. There's always going to be people that get in your way. There's always going to be, like, situations that get thrown at you or, like, places you don't want to go that you might have to. But, like, it's how you adapt to those circumstances, how you keep pushing through it, and that's really what makes us who we are.
For sure.
Undistracted, 2 and 3.
Good stuff. Yeah, the last thing. So like Wednesday was like when I read chapter 3, there was like the words were jumping out of the page at me. There's like it was like, you need to take care of this. And it's something that's been on my mind for a while. And so like reading the words was like, oh man, like this is like speaking exactly to me.
Uh-huh.
And I still haven't taken care of it. It's 3 days later, and it's like I still haven't just like taken that leap or taken that step. Like I gotta wait for the right time, or gotta just like, just like waiting is better. But like, so that's like for me, like that's like speaking. That's the book speaking volumes to me. It's like, okay, you're getting the information. You've been thinking about this thing for a while. Here's the book. Here's information that's like telling you your exact situation and what you need to do to like break free from that. And you still haven't. And it's like, that's something I wanted to talk about.
Okay.
Just like
right now?
No, not the thing, but like just the fact that like I read the book.
You're getting
I knew
like
the
clues.
problem. And I still haven't like dealt with it. I've just been distracting myself from just like facing that head on.
Okay. We're not going into that right now.
No, I don't I don't really need to for like to get the point across.
Sure.
So I just like, I feel like it's good just to be like open about the book. And like, I'm honestly thankful it's gone that way, as far as like, not just being like, let's pick this up, let's read it, and like, we'll fix ourselves throughout the week and then share how we did better. Like, no, like I kind of failed, but like having the realization, talking about it on here is like, that's like accountability and like helping me move forward too, simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, undistracted.
We're gonna try and not be undistracted from the podcast. Try to be undistracted.
Focused.
We're gonna try to not be distracted in the upcoming months and ahead.
Something I've been learning about lately is like really ever since Bible study I started going like almost a year ago, and at the beginning of this year I started like actually reading the Bible for the first time, like genuinely. Like I remember I read like Matthew, like that was the first book I started reading. Actually, scratch that. Like throughout my life, like being a believer, I've like read the Bible, read Proverbs a lot. I remember during quarantine, like going through the like Galatians to Colossians books, like those letters of Paul. But like none of that stuff like stuck super well. But I read like Matthew, like the gospel for myself, like the first time. I just remember like words just jumping out the page. Like I was like, man, this is like really in here. Like I think I've talked about this before. Like Matthew 6 is one of my favorite passages, like where
No cap.
talks about like not being anxious and like God, he takes care of the birds, takes care of the grass, the lilies, the plants. You know, how much more is he going to take care of you? Anyways,
I preached on Matthew 6.
when?
Junior year? Matthew 6, 1 through 8? I don't know.
That's the beginning. I don't know what that part's about. No, that's like, is that like where?
Don't
It's
do
like
things in,
my
don't do
found-
things for pride. Don't do things for pride. Like
Oh, for
don't
pride.
pray in the church, but pray in secret where God
I
can
feel
see
you,
you.
I feel you.
Don't give alms in public when you can just give thanks and alms to people
What is alms?
like thankfulness, like almsgiving, Thanksgiving.
I feel you.
And then it shows you how to pray, and then I don't know. Chapter 6 is a good one.
Mm-hmm. So like I'm towards the end of Luke right now. So like I've like kind of progressed. Like there was like Matthew I read, and then there's like a big gap, and then I read Mark, and so like I've been like in Mark
hi,
and
Mark.
Luke for the last like little while. And like something that's like starting to like reveal itself to me is like how Jesus like lived on earth, and he was like 100% a human being, and he had like the same like he like lived the same life like that we did.
Yeah.
Like I guess like through my youth I always was like Jesus came down from heaven and he knew it exactly what he needed to do, and he just like did it. And there was like zero like zigzag. There was no like complication. It was just like a straight line, like birth to death, and he just like did it. Like to some extent
lived.
that is true, but like he had like such a human life as well.
Yeah.
And that's something that's been like pretty cool to me. Like as far as like just trying to like find God's will for my life, like even on a daily basis, like what do you have for me today? What do you have for me this week? It's like Jesus, like his overall purpose was to like die on the cross, like for our sins, and like conquer death and sin. And the day before he had to do that, the night before, he literally prayed to God 3 times to like have him not have to do that.
Yeah.
Like he knew how much he like that was his life's purpose, and he prayed to not like if there's any other way, like God, please
Like-
take this.
like what put it in perspective to me to make me understand it. So God is Jesus's father.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jesus is God's son. So if you're like a parent, imagine like your son, like, and you being the father, and your kid is begging you to not take his toy from him, type of thing.
Sure.
And what God did, God said to his son, he's like, I'm sorry, but like, I love Henry too much to not let you die, or to not like to let you die. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to let you give your life because I love Henry too much, because I love Chris too much. That's what God said. God gave up his only son because he wanted heaven with us. That's really what put it into my perspective.
That's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave up like his blood, his child, because he didn't want heaven
his gang.
without us. Yeah.
Just kidding. Which that like started to like lead me down. Like I don't want to like get into conspiracies about the Bible, but like think about it like this: what if Jesus, how he was like birthed as a human, what if that was like the birth of his godly form as well? like he didn't exist in heaven before. And he came down as God and man and like experienced it all.
I don't know, dude. But
And
like I did watch something this morning, and it was like Jesus like were conceived, and then like Jesus like intertwines like the birth to our pre-birth, I think. I don't even know, but like Jesus ties in like us to our parents or whatever or something in the womb. Like Jesus is always with us or something like that. But like he said that Jesus was put into Mary's womb, but also tied himself into like her life because she believed in Jesus. I don't know. It was something crazy.
I don't think
It was so weird, but it made a lot of sense. It really put abortion to rest, like with what he said. I need to watch it again because it was like kind of weird, but it was kind of funny.
I don't think that like Mary would not have like had to believe in Jesus until he died. So like
right.
Like that one, I don't think at the birth. Because also I learned about in Luke was that he tells the disciples, like, when I die, like, my helper will come. So it's like the Holy Spirit came after Jesus died, like never before.
Yeah. Weird.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I like learning about that stuff.
I think we wrap up though. Not the podcast, but
That.
yeah,
Oh
the
yeah.
conspiracy theory.
No, I'm not. I'm good on that.
Me as well.
That was my fill. That was my cup. My tea.
Your wine or water.
My cheese. Nah, yeah. That's it for that. Do we talk about it?
Hey, we can.
Fantasy football.
All right, that's it.
two drafts this week.
Our fantasy football, our real lives have started.
Yeah.
Podcast backseat.
We've been on a break for the last 7 months, and we're ready
To go back.
to experience life again. Fantasy football.
Dude.
It's here.
Oh.
I'm not even a big advocate for it. I just enjoy like the team
Henry said he
building
wasn't going to do it this year.
and the point. No, I did that for baseball. I
hate
didn't
football.
play fantasy baseball.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So we're in a league.
Two leagues.
Chris and his friends.
I
and
started
me.
a league.
We are.
And someone's father.
There's the actual punishment for this. Do you want to talk about that?
So
I don't even know what it is.
it's not final yet, and we would like your guys' help with like the punishment. But like, there's two that we're deciding between, and if you have better ones, DM us please. There's either there's the Waffle House punishment where you go to the Waffle House and you're there. You got to be there for 24 hours, but each waffle you eat is hour off.
Dude, I would lose the league on purpose if it had that.
I know.
If that was the one.
That one's kind of like a prize.
I would trade. Dude, the winner should get to do that.
Stop.
The loser should pay the winner for the winner's waffles.
Yeah, but that's the thing. You got to pay for the waffles.
The loser's punishment is to pay for the waffles.
And then
Oh, I see what you're saying.
There's the other one where like however many losses the loser has, that's how many times they have to run around a track. But after each lap and before the first lap and then after each lap, they have to chug a glass of milk or like a beverage of our choice, which would be kind
It
of
should
funny.
switch up every time, like be a surprise beverage.
There you go. Like they don't know what it is.
There's like 7 drinks from the gas station if they have like 7 losses,
Yeah.
and then like they just have to drink one every lap.
It's
like a
like a
random.
fizzy coffee, like
Ooh,
Sprite and coffee mix. Ugh.
that'd be disgusting.
I know. We could like. I feel like that one wouldn't be bad to do.
I would try the challenge.
I know you would, but so that's the punishment league. There's 8 of us. I'm really excited for that one. Then we're in a 14-teamer.
Very
That's
much
about it.
more lame.
That's about it.
Yeah.
That's all you need to hear about that one.
So there's no punishment for that final one, but since Chris and I are both in it, we want to like whoever has the worst record,
The loser
like,
buys a
between the
jersey?
two of
Loser
us.
buys a jersey?
dude, just anything for the jersey.
I'm.
We could do that.
We could do that.
Okay.
Is that just what our bets are now?
Jerseys?
Yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
All right.
That's the end of the podcast. Like just the fist bump is the end of the show.
Yeah. All right.
That's. I think that's good enough for fantasy. I'm excited for the football season. This is our last episode before football season starts.
Lions.
Lions play this Thursday.
Got all the bets.
Most batted team to win the NFC. Really excited for football season this year. Are we gonna go to a Lions game?
We might make it down there.
Okay, we should
Yeah.
at some point. Play the
Sure.
Bears. When they play the Bears. When they play the Bears.
Thanksgiving.
Nah,
I think they always play the Bears at Thanksgiving at home.
they played the Bills last year.
Oh, you straight. It was just like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, but they do play them a decent amount. No, we'll find a game.
Okay.
We should go.
Yeah.
I'll have to get my Lion shirt. I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of stop signs,
We out. Undistracted
this has
yourself
been
this week.
episode 69 of the Young Bucks podcast. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support you show to the episode. We are very thankful for all of you guys. Just keep on showing the love. Download the episode. Subscribe to the YouTube. Follow us on Instagram. Leave us a like. Subscribe to the YouTube right now. Post us to your story. Like the reels. Share them.
Whatever you
Save
can
'em.
do. Whatever you want to do. Please.
Don't feel pressured to
Help
do
us.
anything, though. We love you.
Peace.
Peace. What an episode.